Welcome to Tech Talk Live, a resource produced by Vision Forward. Low vision and blindness technology, tips, tricks, and information presented in a way that makes sense. And now, here are your hosts, Cory and Luke.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, geez, thank you.
Two times.
Sit down. Oh, too much.
You're embarrassing me.
It's too much. Thank
Welcome.
you. Geez. Yeah, look at it. They're stampeding.
That's riots. Hello, everybody. I hope everybody could hear the applause sound effect. Otherwise, that would have been a really weird intro.
I didn't even think about that. You're totally right. That would have been really odd if it wasn't working.
Yes. Any first-time listeners to the show, we do have a live studio audience here, and those were real people that you were hearing.
Well, at some point they were, whenever that was recorded.
Never recorded, they were real people. Welcome to Tech Talk Live. It's very nice to have you here on this sunny July. Is it sunny? I don't even know. Maybe.
Well, now we have a new green screen, and it's covering our windows. So.
Yes. Wherever you are, I hope it's sunny for you and a lovely temperature. Here in Milwaukee, we are doing very well. Actually, I forgot to say, we're not in Milwaukee, are we? We're on the ocean.
Well,
sailing on the ocean, live from the ocean, and behind us you might see a certain animal doing a bit of a spinning, jumping type of affair. Why is that, Cory?
Very repetitive.
It's very repetitive.
Yeah, he's going to get
tired. Seems to be stuck in a time loop. What's going on today, Cory?
Well, today we are talking about ocean mammals.
Yes, we are, yes.
And fish.
Yes, yeah. No, I was going to say caterpillars, but they don't live in the ocean, do they?
Where did you get caterpillars from?
I have no idea how my mind
today we're talking about Dolphin Guide Connect by the company Dolphin.
Very excited, yes. Yeah. And they are a British company, so props to all the Brits out there. And I hope all the Brits joined me in commiserating on July 4th this year. Obviously a dark day for Great Britain.
I feel like you're holding a bit of a grudge. I mean, how many years has it been now?
Well, let's see, 1776 minus 2020. What year is it now? 2022?
2022.
Yes, you figure it out.
So I think it's probably time to enjoy
Cory,
4th of July.
Pain like that never disappears.
Well, you know, we've never lost, so I don't know.
I feel like you're jinxing the country.
I know, I might have.
To all of our listeners out there who enjoy the fact that I'm an English person, if there are any, I have no idea. But if that's something that you enjoy, well, sad news for you, because I will soon be doing my citizenship test. Yes, that's right.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. End of July?
Yes. Okay. I'll be becoming an official, well, assuming I pass the test, of course.
Yeah.
I'll be becoming an official US citizen. So if anybody has a good suggestion of what exactly does make a US citizen, then feel free to put that in the chat. What should I be doing? What's going to change about my life when I get my when I become a US citizen?
Yeah, interesting.
Anybody knows? Anybody has any ideas? Then put it in the chat. Now we do have a bit of a snarky comment in the chat here already from Douglas. So Douglas asks, have we ever given any thought to the idea of starting on time?
I'll think about that and get back to you at about 11:15. So, Doug, I would say we've actually gotten much better about that. Although, unfortunately, today we were 100% set up, and within about 2 minutes of going live, the computer, our broadcast computer crashed.
Yeah. So, Douglas, I think what you have to appreciate here is we have quite a lot of various things going on, and now it might not seem like that. It might seem like this is all very easy.
Sure.
But there's actually quite a lot of complexity behind doing this show, and unfortunately, sometimes things just don't work when they're supposed to.
I have a question for Douglas. Yeah. Have you thought about joining 5 minutes later?
That's a great question. That is a great question. And from Lynn, hope everyone had a great Treason Day. Thank you for being on my wavelength there.
There you go.
Appreciated.
Happy 4th to everybody.
Indeed. So yes, we'll be talking about Dolphin Guide today. This is a simplified computer program which allows individuals who might struggle with typical computers computer use to do those things that computers allow you to do, like emailing and writing documents and even doing OCR and having things read aloud to you and downloading and reading books.
It's actually one of the only, and we'll get to this, but it's really, I think, one of the only platforms to listen to NLS Bard books on the computer.
Yeah, maybe the only one.
I don't think you can do it from when you can download them, but you can't play them.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyways, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, but it's got a lot of nice features, and for those who do struggle with computers, then we do think it's a nice option. Now, we tend not to use it here at Vision Forward so much, because with our clients, we're generally aiming to get them into the workplace, and so they need to be able to use just the standard Windows operating system. But we were discussing how it might actually be helpful, even for some of our clients as well. So I think it's something that we'll be looking into more. But before we get on to that, we do, of course, have to go through our jokes.
Yes.
And also, Cory, I just want you to know that I watched a program on the moon last night.
You did?
Yeah. Did you know that the moon...
How did you get to the moon? And back in time?
Well, you know, SpaceX. There's lots of options these days.
You watched a program about the moon, not on the moon. Okay, got it. I just wanted to clarify.
And did you know that the moon is hollow and aliens live inside?
Now, I was always under the understanding that it was made out of cheese.
Well, that might also be true. Because cheese can be hollow. Think about Swiss cheese. I mean, it has lots of holes.
Did they eat their way into the sun? Interesting. I'm guessing there was not a lot of science around this program you were watching. It wasn't exactly science-based.
Well, that depends on your definition of science, Cory. I think you're being very close-minded here.
Sure, you're right.
Actually, it was based on a scientific fact, which is that Apollo...
The moon exists?
Well, the moon does exist. Apparently, I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
Apollo 12 went to the moon and laid some sensors on the moon, which can detect tremors, because they wanted to find out whether the moon had moonquakes, and if they did, the intensity and duration of those and things. Yeah. So they put those sensors on the moon. Now, something interesting happened when Apollo 12 left the moon. It fired its...
They get little things like, hey, they're gone. We can come out now.
The aliens came out onto the surface and started playing. No, they fired their launcher module back toward the moon after they'd taken off because they didn't need it anymore. To see what happened. And what happened was it hit the moon, and the moon reverberated like a gong.
Oh, showing that it potentially is hollow inside.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
Okay. So where did the aliens in the middle come from? Well, that seems like a big leap from our moon
that might be a matter of interpretation.
Okay, got it.
But the moon does have some interesting... I'm sorry, I'm on a moon jag now.
Yeah.
So it just so happens that the moon is 400 times smaller than the sun.
Yes.
But it's also 400 times closer to the Earth, so it appears to be the same size as the sun in the night sky.
Sure.
That's
relative
distance. Very strange coincidence. Also,
it's a lot like the Lincoln JFK coincidence.
Exactly. There we go. Also, obviously, we only ever see one surface of the moon because it has that exact duration where it spins in such a way that it does an orbit of the Earth and spins in such a way it only shows the one surface. So that's why we have the dark side of the moon, right? We only ever see the same surface. And what else do we know about the moon? Oh yeah, of course, it causes eclipses. I mean, there's a lot of strange things going on about the moon. And when they got there, they thought that the moon would be made out of some, interesting kind of makeup of whatever. The qualities of the rock would be all unique. No, it's just the same qualities of the rock as on the Earth.
That sort of makes sense to me. I mean, why would it be special?
Well, it's supposed to be a whole different planet. So maybe.
But it was created in the same.
Well, they think what might have happened is another planet hit the Earth. Well, no, that didn't make. I don't know. Whatever. If anybody knows anything about the moon and why it's so weird and who the aliens are, then please let us know in the chat. That would be great. And Diane, Marcy in the chat says, "Congrats! I love Brits." So that's very nice to hear. Thank you, Marcy.
Marcy.
And Diane says, Diane is addicted to our jokes. So Diane, you may want to talk to a therapist.
Yeah.
But with that being said, here is my joke. And if anybody has other jokes, please let us know. Oh, Marcy jumped right in with a joke here.
Good.
And I see, Cory, I do see that we've had a number of people join us just now. So I think we do have a number of people deliberately logging on to avoid
the joke session. Joke is on you. We're just getting to it now.
Yeah, apologies to those people, but we are almost finished here.
All right,
so, Marcy, what is the difference between outlaws and in-laws?
I don't know, but we need a sound effect for the answer.
Yes, we do. That is completely inappropriate. The answer is outlaws are wanted. Do you get it?
That's pretty good. I like it. That's very good.
From Deanna, what is the name of a dinosaur with a large vocabulary? What is the name of a dinosaur with a large vocabulary?
Dictionary-saurus.
You're kind of close.
Word-a-lot-of-saurus.
You're kind of further away. A thesaurus.
Oh, that's
very good. And my joke for you, Cory.
Yes.
Why did Luke Skywalker know what Darth Vader had bought him for Christmas? Why did Luke Skywalker know what Darth Vader had bought him for Christmas? Anybody know the answer? Put it in the chat. Cory, did you know the answer?
Because he's his father, and he was creeping around the house and saw the presents under Darth Vader's bed.
That might be true, but it's not at all funny. So I'm going to say no. That was not the answer.
Well, I will beg to differ that your answer is funny as
well.
but
The answer is because he felt the presents.
That's pretty good, actually.
I have one more. I'm sorry, but I found a few good ones. But I need to read this one off my phone because I forgot what it is, obviously.
I'm going to give you one more cap.
Okay. What do you see, because this relates to the moon. Okay. What do you do when you see a spaceman?
I don't know.
Parking it, man.
Parking it, man. That's pretty good.
All right, so everybody will be relieved to hear that we are done with the intro and the joke section. And apologies to those who don't like it, but Cory and I do.
I do too, yes. I agree.
Yes. So we're going to be talking about Dolphin Guide, as I said, and let's just strap on and get right into it here. So we'll switch over to our laptop view. Now, we're hoping you'll be able to hear the laptop. So before we do anything here, I do want... sorry, there's another joke in the chat here from Christina. What is the inner temperature of a tauntaun? Lukewarm.
That's actually pretty good. I like that.
That's pretty good. Well done, Christina.
I did unmute the laptop.
Yeah, so
we should be able to hear.
if people could let me know if they're able to hear this, first of all.
Letters and documents.
I know I can
2 of
hear
12.
Can anybody else hear
Letters
it?
Read and write letters and documents.
Wait, no, not me.
Select this option.
I could
it's not you. No, I know
I
you
could
can
pretend
hear
to be.
Okay, everybody says good. Okay, good.
We can hear.
All right, so this is Dolphin Guide. Now, Dolphin Guide is a program which you can download onto not only a laptop, as we have done here, but also a tablet. And they also have a TV version where they provide you with a box, and you can connect the box to the TV and control it with a remote control. So
which we actually do have here.
Which we actually do have here,
Could do a future session on it.
Yeah. So it's pretty flexible. It gives you like this interface for all these different computing devices. And obviously, the interface works the same no matter what computing device you're using. And the idea is, as I had said, to provide this simplified interface for accessing a computer. So this wouldn't be for your power user. This would be for the individual who just wants a simple way to do those most often done tasks on the computer. And we think it does a pretty good job at this. Now, Dolphin have been around for a while, and they've traditionally had Dolphin Guide for the computer. So this is basically their replacement for that, which, like I say, works on computer, this TV box, and on tablets as well. And you do have to purchase it, but you do get 30 days free. So you can try it out for free, and it really gives you a good amount of time there to see how it works for you and whether it might be something suitable. So we're going to take a look now. Cory and I are not experts on this program, but we do know the basics, so we'll walk through it. And if you do have questions as we go, then feel free to ask them, and we will answer if we can. And I'm just going to cover a couple of things at the top here. So first of all, we're going to look at the appearance settings. So you can adjust the appearance of Dolphin Guide to suit your vision condition. And I'll start off here just by looking at a couple of the shortcuts, F11 and F12. And these are the magnification keys that you can use to magnify whatever is on the screen. So pretty easy to remember, F11 and F12. And it will work even here on the home menu where we're situated at the moment. So let's give it a try. I'm going to go ahead and hit my F12.
Zoom level 4.
And we heard that we'd increased the zoom level. It's gone up to 4. And the icons on the screen have got larger here. Now, if we keep going,
List mode, zoom level 5.
It says list mode and then zoom level 5. So what's happened is it's too big now, really, for those icons to fit on the screen. So instead of icons, we've just gone into a list, which I believe is how Dolphin Guide always used to present itself, just in a list format. And if we keep on magnifying
zoom
here,
level 6.
then those, that list will just
zoom
get
level
larger.
7. Zoom level 8.
See how large we can go here. Now, obviously, at this point, we're so large that we can't fit the entire word for each of the items in this list, and so that it will just scroll instead. So hopefully, we can read it as it's scrolling past. We'll hit F11 to minify here.
Zoom level 7. Zoom level 6. Zoom level 5. Tile mode. Zoom level 4.
And we heard there we got to zoom level 4 and back to tile mode, which is the other way of presenting the menu.
Zoom level 3.
And we'll go back to level 3. So that's pretty simple up the top there. And this magnification controls, they will work wherever we are. So if we're reading an email, for example, we can magnify it with F11 and F12. If we're doing a document, we can increase the size of the text, so on and so forth. So pretty handy. Now I'm going to scroll down here to settings, and hopefully those viewers who have vision will be able to see the mouse pointer here, which is enlarged, and it is a yellow with a bold blue outline. Now we can change the size of this mouse pointer, yeah, so there's a good range of sizes to choose from. I'm going to click on settings here.
11 of 12.
Now if we just click on it once, it will just tell us what it is.
Voice.
I'm just going to stop it talking there. If we click on it once, it will tell us what it is. A double click will actually activate this particular thing, or we can go to the OK button, which will always be on the right side here. So if we can't double click, we can just go over to OK and single click. Let's go ahead and double click for the moment now.
Settings. There are 17 options.
And we heard we're in the settings, and there are 17 options. Now we're just going to look at a couple. First of all, we're going to go to the mouse pointer option, which, if I can get to it, here we go. So this is mouse pointer.
Mouse pointer, 8 of 17.
Click on it once, it will tell us what it is. Double click again, we'll open it.
Mouse pointer. There are 6 options.
We heard there's 6 options. So let's just run through these. We have the ability to enable or disable the large mouse pointer. We can change the fill color of the mouse pointer. Now yellow is the default. Let's change it.
Mouse pointer fill color.
Change it to green.
Mouse pointer.
So now the fill color has changed to
large
green.
Mouse pointer.
We can change the border color, the bold outline of the mouse.
Green.
We'll change that to orange.
Mouse pointer.
We can change the border width to make it thicker or thinner. We can change the transparency of the mouse pointer, whether it is see-through or not. We can set how much see-through it is. And we can also change the size. Let's take a look at size
mouse
here.
Pointers.
So this is 100%, pretty
mouse
large.
Pointer.
And again, this is the default when you first install the program. I think it's a little bit large, but obviously it's going to depend on the individual. So I like it at 50% there. And there we go. So there's our mouse pointer options. Pretty comprehensive, and there's a lot of flexibility there for setting up the mouse pointer how you like it.
Settings.
Now let's go out to appearance and see what options we have in the appearance settings here.
Appearance.
So there's a number of different things we can change here, including font styles and the color of things as well. Let's take a look at a couple of these here. So we'll go to screen colors.
Screen colors.
And there's a number of themes that we can choose from depending on our vision and how we like things to be presented. So we will let's choose a high contrast white background theme here.
Theme set to black text
there to set it. And now everything has got a white background. And if we go out to
appearance,
our menu
setting, main menu.
And so we have this kind of, it's almost like a paper-like style background here, and we still have all of those same icons. So it may be that you prefer viewing things like this, or with the black background, which is what we had set previously and is the default.
11 of settings.
And there's various other ones to choose from as well.
Appearance.
Appearance here. So there's various other ones to choose from with the yellow backgrounds and the blue backgrounds and the black foregrounds and the yellow foregrounds and things like that. So pretty good flexibility in setting this up visually for whatever works for you. So definitely a bonus there.
Appearance.
And then we also underneath there have the text fonts. So this is kind of cool. We can set whatever font these whenever we're typing text or have text on the screen, what font that is going to be displayed in. We have the tile view mode. We can just set it to the list mode, which we had seen when we zoomed in. So if we don't want those tiles, we can just have a list instead if that's easier to navigate. And then we also have some options here for screen brightness and whether we want an on-screen keyboard to be available and various things like that. So some good options there just to make it a bit more visually accessible. And obviously this would be the first thing you would want to do before you started using the program. You want to get it set up visually for for your particular vision.
Main menu.
Now, there's one more thing that I wanted to show here before passing over to Cory, and that was the scanner and camera feature. So in the menu, this is the 4th item here, and we're going to go ahead and click on it once to hear what it is.
Scanner and camera.
Okay, scanner and
4
camera.
of 12.
That's what we want. We'll go ahead and
to read and magnify images from your.
And here we have scanner and camera options. So let's see what we've got here. We've got
camera, scanner, my scanned documents, my pictures,
and pictures. So you can upload pictures to here. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, because Guide has OCR built into it. And the OCR seems to be pretty decent, so you can take a printed document and have the computer read it aloud to you. Now you could use a flatbed scanner with this and use the scanner function. So you get your flatbed scanner connected via USB, put your document in, and then you can scan it and have it read aloud. And you can probably use other external cameras as well, like a Pearl camera, that you might have already available. But one thing that I noticed yesterday, which I really like, is we have Guide Connect set up on a laptop here. And laptops have cameras built into them. And so we can actually utilize the laptop's existing camera and take a picture with that and have OCR performed and have the document read aloud. Now, I tried this yesterday and it seemed to work pretty good. So let's see how it works today.
So today it shouldn't work.
Yeah, today it
very well.
probably won't work at all. But we'll go up to camera.
My camera to a 4.
Go ahead and open that up.
To show image, capture image, press enter to capture.
Okay, now you're getting a bit of a sneak peek behind the scenes here because the laptop camera can see the green screen.
Yeah, sure.
And you may notice that our green screen is just a green cloth that's kind of taped to the wall. So yes, there we go. But okay, we have a document. And this is just a flyer. Now, obviously, it helps here if you do have enough vision to, to know that you're holding the document in front of the camera, and the camera can see the whole document. But I think you could probably figure this out, even if you have no vision. I think you could probably get the hang of, doing this. Okay. So once we have the document aligned with the camera, then we're going to go to the
Scan
OK button
image.
here.
Use the actions menu for more options.
And it took a picture, and it told us to use the action menu for more options. Now, I'm going to have to introduce the action menu here because, Cory was going to introduce this, but we need to use it here.
Sure.
So I think we can actually click in the top left if we're a mouse user. Let's just try that a second.
Image actions. There are 5 options.
Yeah, so we were actually able to click in the top left as a mouse user to open up this actions menu. But if we're using the keyboard, we can also press F2, and that will open our actions menu too. So basically, any area of the program that we're in, F2 will open options that relate to that area. And in this case, we have a few different options. We can change the color of our picture. We can rotate our picture. We can save our picture. We can print our picture. But the thing that we want to do is scan for text, and that's going to scan the picture, see if there's any text there, and then read it aloud to us. So let's go ahead and
Scan
try it.
for text.
We'll double click.
Your text is being recognized.
Give it a
Please
second to
scan
perform the
complete. Start of document. Press enter to start reading the document.
And it told us what to do. It said scanning was complete. It said press enter to start reading the document. So let's see if we've captured the text from the flyer.
Orcam Overview. Orcam MyUI and MyReader 2.0 are the latest devices from Orcam, utilizing artificial.
And I'll stop it there with the control. Did a really good job.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is just using the camera on the front of the laptop, so we're not having to purchase anything separate or anything like that. And maybe it's easier. I mean, having a scanner takes up room and extra cables and everything.
I think it's a great alternative. If you've got a scanner, probably makes sense to use it. But if you don't have anything, or you're on the road or whatever, you've got a cool way to quickly do OCR.
Yeah,
and you're right. I think with a little practice, you could definitely line it up.
Yeah, whatever your vision.
Issue.
Yeah, and it's pretty fast in doing the OCR as well. So fast and accurate. Everything that you would really want. So anyway, I thought that was a neat, neat thing there. So just quickly before I hand over to Cory, we did have a joke from Shirley. I'll just read it out quickly.
Sure.
Where does a veterinarian sleep after a fight with his or her spouse?
I don't know.
In the doghouse.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, I don't even know what these sound effects are.
You want to do the middle bottom row?
Oh, no,
you can give her a clap too.
that's the one.
I meant the bottom right one.
That's the one that Cory told me to do, Shirley. I apologize.
Surely don't believe him. Even though I said it out loud and it's recorded.
And Terry says, what is the name of this guide program again? I'll put it in the chat here, but it's Dolphin is the company, and it's called Guide Connect.
And this they just now, if anyone is a top tech tidbit subscriber, you'll see most recently Dolphin just posted something that they are retiring their original Dolphin guide solution that's been around for over 20 years. What they're recommending now is that individuals transition to this new replacement, which is called Guide Connect.
Yeah.
And it honestly looks, visually it might be a little different, but it's almost identical to the old guide.
Yeah. Very similar features, and you can set it up in a very similar way.
Yep.
All right, let me get out of here.
Leave text.
We'll leave this text.
Yes. Scan image. Capture image. Press enter. Scan main menu.
And we're back to the main
there
menu.
Are 12
slide
options.
over to Cory, and he's going to take it from here.
One of 12.
All right, so
to read and write.
Now, Luke was showing some of the more visual, low vision features of this program, but one of the great things is that it is also a good solution for those who do not have any usable vision and may require screen reader. So as Luke had been doing his demonstration, we obviously heard some of the speech features speaking already. Now, those can be turned off. So if you are a low vision user and you only want to use those visual options, then we can turn the speech off, and then you don't have to worry about that. So we did talk about a couple of the the function keys, the F keys across the top. Luke mentioned F2, which is our actions key. We'll do that in a little bit. Also mentioned F11 and F12 to decrease and increase magnification. I'll just cover the other ones real quickly here, but then we'll also be using some of them throughout the demonstration. F1 is for help, and so anytime that we are stuck and don't know what to do on any screen, we can hit F1 and get context-sensitive help. So it'll only provide us help directly on the screen we're on, and we'll show that in just a moment. We saw F2 is our actions key. Now, I knew I was going to do this because now I can't remember 3, 4, and 5. One of them is, I can't remember what F3 does. F4, I believe, repeats what was last spoken. So if you need to repeat what was spoken. F5 is say all. So if you wanted to read all. F6 is our dictation key. That starts and stops dictation, which we'll show in a little bit. F7 and 8 adjusts the volume, and then F9 and 10 adjust the speed of the voice.
You did a wonderful job there, Cory.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate it, except I forgot F3.
Well, no, but everybody's going to forget something. So let me read a couple of things from the chat here.
Sure.
So Doug points out something here, which is actually really good. Yeah, so with the old version of guide, just regular guide, each of those menu options had a number associated.
Oh, you could,
Yeah, so you could just press the number, yeah. Now, I'm kind of curious here.
If that'll work.
Yeah, can we try pressing number 2?
I can tell you that first letter navigation works in this menu, but let's try. Okay, so we know that documents and letters is number 2.
Yep.
So I'll hit 2.
Try. Documents.
Yep, so that still works.
There are 4 options.
So yeah, it's a shame that those numbers aren't still there. I agree with you.
There may be a setting in the menus to
add
turn
those.
that back
Maybe
on, and maybe they're off by default now.
Yep.
But you can use first letter navigate. So so there are 3 ways to navigate these menus: either up and down arrow, first letter navigation, or using the number of the menu option.
Cory, for those who might not know, what is first letter navigation?
So first letter navigation is where we hit the first letter of whatever we're looking for. So for example, if I wanted settings, I could hit S, and it won't work.
That's because we're in the documents menu.
Main menu.
That's right. Let's try
There
again.
are 12 scanner and camera.
There's scanner and camera. If I hit S again,
settings.
I move down
11
to
of
settings.
12.
So I can hit the first letter of
change
whatever
Guide Connect's
option
voice.
I'm looking for, and it'll move through the menu and move to each of those options.
Excellent. Somebody else in the chat here. So Christina said, "How much is it?" And I replied, "There's a number of price points, but just the software on its own is $8.95."
Yeah. Now you may say that's a lot.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah,
because
go for it.
Daniel replied, $895 for this. Yikes.
Yeah. Now let's explain real quickly why you're spending $8.95, what you're getting for that $8.95, besides the features we're going to show. A couple of the big reasons you're spending $8.95, your 2 biggest reasons are because you're getting good voices, good TTS voices. So that's a big cost of JAWS versus NVDA, is that you're not paying, every time Dolphin sells this program, they have to license the voice. So that's one of them. The other thing, you're getting a full OCR engine.
Yeah.
Think about it. Kurzweil's $1,000. OpenBook is $1,000. So you are getting a full magnifier, a full screen reader, and a full OCR package for $8.95. Plus everything we're about to show, from email to calendar to video chatting to books, music, podcast.
And that video chat, that's their own platform as well.
Yes.
So I think it's a lot of money for software, and people are so used just to buying things on their phone these days for $5 or whatever. But if you look at the prices in the accessibility field in general, which, you could argue that everything is too expensive in general. But if you look at the prices in the accessibility field in general, I would say this is actually pretty reasonably priced for what it is able to do.
And the support you're getting, that's the other big thing too. NVDA, again, I use that as being an open source free option, but with that comes no support whatsoever.
Yeah. Plus, who's training you to use it,
Yeah. So So I think those are all those things to kind of take into account. And you're right, $8.95 is a lot of money. Don't get us wrong. But
books and emails.
So we talked about some of the function keys, and we're going to again use those during this demonstration. But I want to just highlight some things. We're going to try to get to as much as we can today, and we might end up having to do 2 sessions as well, depending on how far we get and what people want. But some things we're going to kind of skip over. Some things we're going to highlight. So the first thing here is our email menu.
Emails, 1 of 12.
And
to read and write emails.
There we go.
Select this option.
One of the nice things you get is a little help hint after each of them, sort of telling you what this option is and how to interact with it. Again, everything's going to be presented in a very straightforward, menu-driven kind of solution here. So if we hit enter on email.
Email menu, there are 5 options. Write new email, 1 of 5.
Our first option is write new email. So obviously if we were creating a new email, that's what we would choose.
Can we change the verbosity, do you know, Cory?
Turning off some of those help. Yes, okay. You can inside the menus. Yep. All right, and then if we come down.
Inbox, 2 of 5.
Inbox would be to
view
read
emails
any new
which have been
emails
sent
coming in.
Folders, 3 of 5.
Again, we can choose folders, so if we wanted to take a look at our sent, deleted, or any folders we create.
My saved attachments, 4 of 5.
So here's a nice spot. Anytime we get an attachment and we save it from an email, we can quickly come right back to it.
Blocked email addresses, 5 of 5.
And we see that this is our last option of any emails we've blocked. So we'll go back to inbox here, and I can either up arrow or I'll just hit I.
Inbox,
there we
2
go.
of 5.
And we'll hit enter on it.
Inbox, page 1 of 60. There are 21 options. YouTube.
And we heard that we have 60 pages. We never delete any of our emails in this account. So we had 60 pages and 21 emails per. But
I can see on this first email, it's a notification to let us know that we're going live on YouTube. Right?
Oh, wonderful.
But I can also see that I put a typo in the title.
That's all right, we'll fix that.
Never mind.
But again, simple. Now it's just presenting our email. So we'll just we can up and down arrow through this list of emails.
The Google account team, 2 of 21.
And
Vision forward, take the next step on your Windows device by...
And if we want to read this one, we simply hit enter. It opens
Page
up
loaded.
the email.
Finish setting up your device.
And at this point, we can either just use our normal kind of commands we're used to, up and down arrow to move line by line, right and left arrow to move letter by letter, control right and left arrow to move word by word, or we can also use the F5 key, I believe. We're going to find out right now. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Hi, Vision Forward.
Oh,
Thanks for signing into Google on your Windows device.
To us.
Please confirm your.
I can tap the control key at any time, and that'll stop it for us. So we can tap that F5 key and have it kind of do a read from start to finish for us.
Can we try pressing enter here?
Sure.
I'm kind of curious whether that would read it to us also.
Nope.
Nada. Okay. Quick question, not a question, so a comment from YouTube here.
Yeah.
So I'm afraid I can't see the individual's name,
sure.
But this person says, I love Dolphin, but the cost is prohibitive for me. I get at least 80% of Dolphin's simple usability from Mac OS and iPad OS. My loss of vision is the root cause of my migration to Apple, and I think that's great. So yes, obviously, off-the-shelf devices do these days have great accessibility built in, but I think in terms of Guide Connect, it's really geared toward those people who wouldn't be able to manage a regular computer operating system on their own. Now, an iPad may be more usable for those individuals, depending on what you're trying to do.
And depending if you're low vision or using a screen reader, that makes a big difference.
Yes,
too.
Very good point there. So. But yeah, no, that's a fair point. I mean, obviously, your choice of computing device and interface is going to be very dependent on your level of ability and the tasks that you want to achieve.
Sure.
So this is just another option, for that. Also, we have some question here. This is a great question. I'm afraid I can't see. Oh, sorry, from Michelle. Here we go.
Yeah.
Michelle asks, is there ability to control Guide with your voice? Now we know you can dictate.
Yeah, so unfortunately you cannot move through the menus or control it that way with your voice. The only voice that I'm aware of is the dictation piece, which we'll show in just a little bit. Yep. All right, so we've got our email here, and we talked about the F2 key. Anytime that we want to perform an action, is always going to be our F2, our actions key. So let's say, for example, we wanted to do something to this email, reply, forward, delete, move to a folder. All of that's going to be under our actions key. So if we hit F2,
Actions. There are 12
we have
options.
12 options.
Check for new email.
So first one, we can check for new email.
Reply.
There's
2
our
of
reply
12.
right away.
Reply all.
Reply
3
all.
of 12.
So I'm not going to go through this entire list, but any action you would need to perform on an email, again, from replying to forwarding to deleting to moving to saving attachments, are all going to be presented in this actions list.
Yeah, and so one of the nice things about Dolphin Guide is the consistent interface that it presents. So
Yes.
when we were in the documents and scanner mode, then we used F2 to open the actions for that particular mode. Or if you're a visual user, you can click on the 3 lines at the top left as well. And that's going to be the same across the system. Anytime there are actions, F2 while clicking on those lines will open them.
And that's really the power of Guide, is we're not Guide Connect. We're not learning Outlook. We're not learning Excel. We're not learning Power, all these separate programs. You're really just learning one, and all of the keyboard commands are exactly the same.
Exactly.
The tasks are different and the options are different, but how you're accessing it are the same. Anytime we want to move back, we can
Inbox,
simply
page
hit our escape key. We're in our inbox right now. If I tap escape
Email
again,
menu.
go back to our email menu, tap again.
Main menu.
And back to our
There are
main menu. So each press of our escape key will just keep taking us a step back and a step back.
Right.
Now, one thing I will show, and we won't show it in email, but I think we'll show it in documents here, is that anytime things need to be done, like creating a new email or creating a new document, again, it's presented in a very straightforward, simple, step-by-step way. So, for example, let's go to our documents here.
Letters and documents.
And we'll go into
2
that
of
option.
Documents. There are 4
Now,
options.
you might say, what's the difference between letters and documents? We had this conversation yesterday. Documents are anytime we're creating a document that you're familiar with. Letter is when you're typing up a letter that you want to send to someone via the mail. It's going to ask you for the person's contact information. You also need to enter in your contact information under settings too, and then that'll get dropped in perfectly for you when you're printing.
This is what we assume anyway, because we haven't tested it out. But
Yeah,
this is
I think we should be confident enough to just say that.
If anybody knows anything different, feel free to put it
My
in the chat.
documents.
But I'm going to go in here. We have my documents. So this obviously would show us any documents that we've already created and saved.
New document.
Otherwise, we
3
can
of
create
4.
a new document or a
To
new
write
letter.
a new document.
We're going to write a new document.
New document. Please type your text, then use the actions menu for more options.
And right away, we
Voice
get a great
dictation.
little hint here. Says type your text, and then go ahead and hit F2 for action. So at this point, we can either just type.
Capital H E L L
Even told
O.
you it was uppercase.
Hello space.
Yep. And you do get to choose what your typing echo is. It's right now set to characters and words, but you can have it just words, just characters, whatever you'd like. And then, so we can either type, or we can use dictation as well. Now, dictation is going to be similar to dictation that you're maybe comfortable with on some of your other devices, where you do need to put in dictate or verbalize any punctuation because it can't automatically do it.
Or if you're most people, just don't bother.
New line.
Yeah,
New line.
but I did notice, I think because it's a British company, we do need to say full stop rather than period. If you say period, it'll actually write out the word period.
So what you're saying is you need to speak correct English. Is
Or
that what you're saying?
British English, whichever one. So we're going to try this. I'm going to hit F6. You're going to hear a beep. I'm going to dictate, and then I'm going to hit F6 again, and you'll hear a different sound, and then you're going to hear Guide repeat back. Whenever you're doing dictation, I always recommend just dictating a sentence or two because you want to give the computer time to process what you said. So you definitely don't want to dictate a whole paragraph. In my opinion, I never think that's a great way of doing it. So let's try it out. Hello, comma, we are dictating text, full stop. I sure hope this works, full stop.
Hello, comma, we are dictating text, period. I sure hope this works, period.
Now we are hearing that punctuation is spoken, and so at first, I had to go back and double check that it wasn't putting in the word period. And I can do that again. We can just use our normal text navigation keys. So I should be at the end of this line. Yep, if I do a left arrow,
period.
We can see that it's a period versus actually spelling out
Genius.
period. But you can also go into the under settings and change this too. You can have punctuation not spoken if you don't want to.
So,
It's
Cory,
turned on right now,
a
though.
couple of things, Cory.
Yes.
Number one, you said full stop.
Yeah.
But when it spoke it out loud, it said period. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I do find that interesting.
But number two, regarding the pricing of this, I hate to come back to this again, but
Yeah.
I do have to point out, if you're a screen reader user,
Oh, sure.
as far as I'm aware, if you're going to be doing this on a computer, your only solution for this to work where you would say the text and then it's read out to you afterwards so you can hear what's been entered is JAWS and JSA, right?
Yeah, there used to be, and somebody put in the chat if it's still, I'm not sure if it's still up to date, but NVDA also had Dictation Bridge, where it allowed you to use drag and dictate with NVDA.
Oh, yeah. And,
but I don't know that it's been updated. I haven't followed it, so I'm not sure.
fair enough.
But either
just
way,
going
yeah.
back to the pricing, I mean, JAWS and JSA, you're spending thousands on that,
So
right?
JAWS, you could get the home edition for $90 a year, so
Well, let's
that's
just say
awesome.
you're buying it
but
outright.
yeah, you're paying over $1,000 for JAWS, and then
JAWS.
JSA is I think $800-900 as well too.
Right. So say that you're looking around $2,000
yeah,
for those.
yep.
So when you compare with something like that, you know, it's this.
And
seems pretty
if
reasonable.
you use JAWS with Dragon on its own, it works, but JAWS will not. You don't get. It won't echo what you said. So you can dictate, but then you have to go back through and sort of see what was said. That's where JSA comes in.
Yeah.
I mean, JSA provides way more than just that. It gives you the ability to control the whole computer.
Fair enough, yeah.
But its main purpose, is that echo, which you see we got perfectly here with Dolphin.
Yeah, so I mean, I think
Guy
this is
Connect.
I think this is pretty awesome feature, and the other thing is that was just with the microphone on the laptop.
Yeah, it's just using the built-in microphone, and it was perfectly
did a good
fine.
job, yeah.
So here's our document. We were able to create this, and then again, just like anything, if we want to perform an action, let's say save it, we're going to do our F2 keys for actions.
Actions. There are 6 options. Save.
And we have a
One
couple of
6.
options in here. We can save.
Spell check.
We can run a
2 of
spell check
6.
on it.
Look up word.
If we
3 of
got a
6.
built-in dictionary,
Print.
we can print
4 of
it.
6. Print label.
That's going to
5
be
of
if we're
6.
creating a envelope or a
Printer
label.
information. 6 of 6.
And then information, that's going to give us, I
To
believe,
view
if I'm not-
information about your
Oh, there you go.
document,
Word count and stuff.
select this option.
There you go. I love it. It's called information, and then the hint says to view information about your document. I'm like, well, that's a good hint. So in this case, we're going to go back up to save. So I'm just going to hit S rather than going all the way up.
Save.
And we'll
1
hit
of 6.
enter.
Enter new file name. Voice dictation.
And it simply is now asking me to put in my file name, and it is saying dictation available, so I can actually dictate at this point as well too. And I'll just name this
test
file, and then we just hit enter,
Guide Connect.
and it's
Your
created
document
it for
has
us.
been saved to your documents folder.
Lovely.
Currently selected. Okay.
So okay.
New document.
So
Please
that's
type
as
your
simple
text.
as saving. So again, everything's just presented in this real simple kind of menu or question driven kind of interface.
I have something I want you to try here.
Okay.
Okay, so we just saved the document, right?
Yeah.
Okay. We saved the document. It's taken us back to the document.
Yep.
Now we hit escape, and what happens?
It's going to
Save changes.
ask us if we want to save
Would you
changes.
like
That really annoys me. Why does it do that?
Yeah, so Word is smart enough to know it won't bring up save changes if
Yeah.
no changes were there.
Exactly.
I think theirs just automatically does it all the time.
Yes.
Which does show you we probably didn't even have to go into the F2
We never
menu.
even
We
had to do
probably
it.
could have done escape
Exactly.
and just gone right
No.
in. So we're not going to
Documents.
change it. And
There are
again, we're
4
back in our documents here. So if we chose My Documents,
My documents.
hit enter.
Folder documents.
Now we can actually
There are
go
5
through.
options.
And if we find that test file,
Bob letter. Hello. Test file.
there's that one I
4
just
of
created.
5.
Obviously, hitting
Test
enter
file.
is now
Please
going to
type
go
your
ahead
text,
and open
then
up
use
this
the action.
document for us.
Now this, so it said it was a .rtf file, so this is a rich text format
Correct.
file. So I'm guessing that we don't have a lot of options in terms of formatting in this word processor.
I don't believe so.
So
no.
I'm not sure we have the
No.
ability to do any bold or underline or italic or
Blank
We
line.
can do
but-
cut, copy, paste.
Hello.
Okay.
We are.
But I don't
Blank.
think-
Start of line.
Let's try it once.
Start of line. Hello. Capital H.
If I select this
LO selected.
there, and then I do Control B.
Your selected text is
it
now
did actually
old.
work.
So I think there is some
Interesting.
basic bold, italic, but I don't know there's a whole tons of stuff you can do. But again, this, like you said from the get-go, this isn't really geared towards your professional.
Power user, yeah, exactly.
Save
Ashley
chain,
in the chat here asks,
Documents.
is the $8.95 a one-time fee, and is there any other fees to the program? So yes, the $8.95 is a one-time fee. No other fees. That does actually make me wonder why they haven't instituted a software as a service type setup with this as well as an option.
You do get lifetime free updates.
Yeah.
In that
really
$8.95. Nice. Yeah. So
I'm kind of wondering why they haven't got
a yearly cost instead.
Plan.
Yeah,
but
maybe at some point, I suppose.
Menu.
Yeah, but if you think about $8.95 for a lifetime of updates, that actually works out pretty nicely. Because again, if you were looking at a screen reader like Jaws, let's say you buy it outright, it's $1,000 plus then you've got to purchase.
And that $1,000's only
updates.
I was just going to say that $1,000 is only for that one version.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right, let's roll back to our main menu here. So
letters and documents, websites.
I'm going to skip websites for today because it's not significantly different than navigating with a traditional screen reader. You can still use some of your hotkeys, H for heading, E for edit box, and things like that. So I'd like to cover some other things that I feel are a little bit more important. If we do a second session, we can come back to websites as well too.
Scanner and camera.
We did cover scanner and camera already with Luke, so we'll skip over that one.
Books and news.
Now, I do want to take a look at books and news. So, Dolphin Guide Connect does support a number of different libraries. I've already set it up with Bookshare and with NLS Bard by just typing in my username and password for each of them.
Books and
news. Let's go on in here.
There are 3 options. Continue reading Ready Player One.
So it's already, the first menu here for me says continue reading Ready Player One because I've downloaded this book from NLS Bard, listened to it for a moment, and so it's being very helpful saying, hey, do you want to continue listening to this one? If you've not yet read a book or set anything up, you wouldn't have this menu option. We'll keep coming down.
Books, 2 of 3.
And then we have books or newspapers.
To read a book or to find newspapers and magazines.
Here we go. We'll go back to books.
Books. There are 3 options. My books.
So we have My Books. That's going to show us any book we've downloaded.
Find a new book.
We've got Find a New Book.
Read from device.
And read from device, which I'm not 100% read from device. If that takes us back.
It has a picture of a USB stick on it.
Yeah. Okay, so if you've downloaded a Bookshare book or a NLS book from the website and had it on a flash drive.
Yes,
that makes sense.
Find a new
We're
book.
going to find a new book.
2 of 3 online libraries. There are 5 options.
And now it's giving us a list of the different online libraries it supports.
Bookshare.
So we've got Bookshare.
1 of 5. Project Gutenberg. 2 of NLS Bard.